Okay, so today I want to talk about the version control system that comes built in with Xcode. This version control system is built around the idea of taking pictures of your project. So they use the metaphor of snapshots and making a snapshot. So you can kind of think of it as taking a picture of your code and your project at a certain point in time. And the good thing about this is if you take pictures of your code before you make major changes and you do something wrong and then it goes something really horribly wrong, you can just revert your entire project back to that point in time. And that's kind of the basic idea of a version control system. So I'm going to try to demonstrate this by, I've created a regular view project, and I'm going to run it right now so you can see what it does. Right now it's going to show you a gray screen. This is the same thing you get when you just build a project. You get the basic project in Xcode. And I'm going to make a change to the nib file because that's the simplest way I think to do this. As you can see, there is the screen that pops up when you first open the program. I'm just going to put a label in here, and I guess you can pretend that's a more meaningful sort of app label. I'm going to save this and close it, and then run it. I'm in the habit of whenever I make a change to my apps, just running it to make sure that the change happened, especially when I'm using Interface Builder, because you never know with that. But you can see now that the label shows up in the app. Um, Now I'm about to make a major change to the app, but before I do that, I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to make a snapshot, and I'm going to also show you by selecting the snapshot menu item here that the snapshot was taken at a certain time. And now I'm going to select the nib file again and make some changes. So I'm going to put this segmented control in here, and I'll put a slider control on. They won't do anything. I'm going to save it and exit out of this and hit build and go. So now you can see the controls on the app. But I'm going to pretend now that I made a big mistake and I want to revert back. So I'm going to first clean my project. This kind of cleans out all the caches that Xcode keeps for you. So it'll basically force Xcode to build the entire thing from scratch, which I like to do when I'm working with interface builder files sometimes. So I'm going to also now go to File, and I'm going to go to the Snapshots menu, and I want to revert back to this picture I took a few minutes ago. So how you do that is you select the snapshot and just hit the restore icon. And you can kind of see that it works because it created this extra little snapshot automatically for you. And now if we build in the project, we should be able to see the new changes show up in the app. Or I should say, we should see the original changes be reapplied in the app. So we don't have the segmented control anymore, and we don't have the button or the slider anymore because all these controls were made after we made the snapshot. And when we reverted back to making the snapshot we took before, the state of the entire app was brought back to that period in time. So there you have it. That's how you use the snapshot and the snapshots feature in Xcode. Now this won't give you some of the other advantages of having a version control system that you have hosted on a remote server that will allow you to collaborate with remote workers or anything like that, but this will give you a little bit of protection for yourself if you are the type that likes to make a lot of changes and sometimes without thinking about the consequences is a way to roll back the changes you make. Yeah, it gets a little bit tricky with with the interface builder, but for the most part, it does the job pretty well.